and welcome to the Saturday preview show. I'm Cara Henderson and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by McManus and Kris. Thank you very much. We've got a big weekend of Scottish Premiership action with lots of twists and turns, I'm sure. We'll get started on the big game of the weekend, the game I'm going to, St Johnstone versus Aberdeen. Simo Valakari's side head into the game, still bottom of the Premiership, but performances have been a lot better than a semi-final. Do you think that the players will probably be going in feeling quite confident because of the results of late?
Yeah, I think getting to a semi-final, the players will be confident. Great result against Livingston. They're only 3 points off Dundee now at the bottom. They were 10 points behind at one point and they looked dead and buried, so they're still winning with a chance of staying up. This is a game they'll be targeting to win. Aberdeen have picked up again in recent weeks after going through a rough patch, but I just see Aberdeen going there and winning the game. I think Kevin Nisbet's in decent form at the minute, buying goals in, and I think the new players have settled in a little bit better, so I think it'll be a tight game, but I could see Aberdeen going there and picking up with 3 points.
And getting into a National Cup semi-final, how much does that lift a sort of group of players?
I think for morale it's great, yeah. I think for confidence certainly that bleeds into training, but in the back of their mind they'll have something more important to think about, and obviously that's to stay in the league. So very important game for them. They want to get obviously at least a point if they've got any chance of staying up. So be interested to see how they do attack it, obviously with that still in the back of the mind of that semi-final.
So predictions, Aberdeen win?
I'm going to go for Aberdeen 2-1.
1-0 Aberdeen.
Okay, like it. So we'll get on to the actual, probably the bigger game of the weekend.
A wee joke at the start there.
Celtic versus Rangers. You didn't laugh as much as I wanted you to. It's only my second time.
Comedy's timing.
I know. Well, there is that. So Kris, from your point of view, you've obviously played in these games. How exciting is the lead up to it? And obviously it's a massive game.
Yeah, I've always said like the lead up, certainly for like 5-6 days, it's almost like a Super Bowl build up. The press, the excitement, the buzz in training. You want to be in the coaches and the manager's eyes that you want to be playing, you want to be part of the squad. So yeah, it's a real exciting week leading into this game. I must say though, I'm more excited, not so much excited about the game, I'm more excited that there's going to be away supporters there. I think for the first time in many years, it's going to add to the spectacle what should be a great game, and both teams will be full of confidence and looking to try and go toe-to-toe with each other like they did in the previous game.
And obviously playing in that, do you think it made a difference having the Rangers fans at Celtic Park, because there was that added extra that you wanted to almost silence them?
We actually had that, yeah. I think when I played at Ibrox, I was never on a winning team at Ibrox, but the atmosphere was just electrifying. It made you either man or a mash, you either shrunk or your shoulders come out and you actually try to go and win the game. And I think you find out a lot about players when you're in those environments. I think when you're playing in front of 60,000 people, that's all your own supporters. You've got a bit of a free hit. There's no pressure. You don't get that sort of the pressure of putting in a good corner with all them fans behind you. So, from my perspective, when I played, I wanted, to be honest with you, I'm sounding a little bit silly. I wanted as many Rangers supporters there as possible because I wanted to show them that we were better than them. Yeah. And on the odd occasion, they were better than us. But certainly for me, I wanted that hostile environment. It creates such a great atmosphere.
And heading into the game, obviously it was a great result for Rangers last night into the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Barry Ferguson probably wouldn't have wanted 120 minutes of football, but how do you think they'll be approaching this game?
I think the fact that they won makes a big difference. I think if they got beaten penalties, they go into this, I think, a wee bit despondent. Their season basically over. But they're still in. They're into the next round against Bilbao, so I think they'll go into confidence. I think they'll try and get after Celtic early doors. They've done that at Ibrox early in the season. I think it's easy to do it at home. I'm just surprised that Kris said he'd never won at Ibrox for Celtic. It's a great start, that as well. But
scored it.
Scored there, aye. Listen, Celtic are well rested. I think you've seen a different Celtic last week against Hibs. They had no midweek game. First 5-10 minutes they were right after Hibs, and you could see they were up for it. If Celtic put in that same type of performance against Rangers, I think they'll win the game comfortably. But I think it is a wee bit of a free hit for Rangers and Barry. I don't think Barry's going to be there in the summer. I think he'll get the players wound up. They'll go into it. Nothing really to lose.
They can't get it for 4 or 5 though.
No, as long as they don't get battered. If they go in and put in a good performance against Celtic at Parkhead, because it's been a long time since they've won there. If they go in and put a good performance in, then I think Barry will take that. But I still fancy Celtic. I think they'll be too strong for them.
And a side note, Callum McGregor not being in training this week. Brendan Rodgers says a decision will be made about him tomorrow. Do you think that would be a big miss? Do you think that would change the game?
I think it would be a big miss. I think he's carrying something. I think the last 2 games he's come off. He came off at 1-0 against Hibs last week, and I thought, it's a strange one. He's obviously carrying an injury, so he's struggling. I think he's a key player for Celtic. He controls the game in there. If he doesn't play, it could be a big day for Luke McCown or somebody like that to come in, but I think Celtic would rather him in the team.
For sure. Prediction then?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Celtic.
3-1 Celtic.
Okay, nice. Dundee United, Dundee, another derby. You've got one team pushing for the top 4, one team trying to avoid relegation. What are your thoughts heading into this one?
Yeah, listen, it's a massive game. I've played in this fixture. I know how much it means to both sets of supporters. Dundee United going for third this season.
Did you score?
I played twice. I played in 2 derbies. I scored in one at Tannadice and I got sent off another one at home. We got beat, so mixed bag, to be honest. But we got relegated that season, so not great. But listen, Dundee in a precarious position again. I think they go into this, and I think the manager's under a wee bit of pressure. I think they've had a bad run of form at the minute after doing so well last season. Dundee United, Jim Goodwin has a fantastic season. They're not in great form either, to be honest. So tough one to call. You know, I think there's always goals, there's always drama in these games. They're always good to watch, and I think it might be a high-scoring draw.
Having played in derbies, would an extra incentive form a Dundee United point of view, thinking we could push Dundee further into a relegation battle? Does that matter? Does that come into it?
Good question. I've never been involved in that sort of derby where you would be doing that. But yeah, it's a good question. I think what I would say the Dundee United players will be thinking about is, can they push up and get into the 3rd position? You know, they have had a few up and down results. They've not been consistent throughout the year. But if they can put a good result in at Tannadice and, you know, try and put a little bit more pressure on Aberdeen to get that 3rd spot, and obviously Hibs who are in and around there as well, it will certainly go a long way towards the end of the season. But yeah, Dundee derbies, you just got to keep your emotions in check. I know the emotions can play big parts in these, and you know you can get some people that are not used to it make rash decisions and bad decisions, and you know usually end up making mistakes. So yeah, if they can keep the emotions in check and experienced players do their part, then yeah, Dundee United should come away with 3 points.
I'm going to go 2 each.
2 each a draw. Hearts versus Ross County next then. Ross County could overtake Hearts with a win, and actually, depends on other results, could get in the top 6. Have Ross County been dark horses this year for the top 6? I think a lot of the pundits in here certainly have maybe not given them the credit they might deserve.
I don't think any punt on the land would have tipped Ross County to be top 6, let's be honest. I think most had them bottom 2. I think Don Cowie's done a fantastic job up there. There's a large turnover of players up there every season. They get players up for England, you get a lot of loans up there. It's a long way to go, you know, as for an English player. But they seem to churn them out every year. They pick up wee gems and they sell them on. Obviously in January, Roy McGregor always sticks his hand in his pocket and they sign players. So I think they've been a real surprise package. Hearts still in the mix for 3rd, I think. If they have to go and get a great run for 3rd, but they'll be concentrating to get in the top 6. Disappointing result against Hibs. So I think home advantage for me, Tynecastle. Kris will tell you it's a tough place to go. It's an intimidating atmosphere. And I think if the crowd get behind them and Hearts get an early goal, then they'll go and win the game. So I think they'll win it, but I think it'll be a narrow one for Hearts.
Yeah, a quick note about Hearts. Obviously, young James Wilson gets called up, 18 years old. The other end of the spectrum, Craig Gordon, still getting into Scotland squads. You played with Craig Gordon. What's he like as a professional?
The ultimate pro. Yeah, I think the adversity that he's shown throughout his career, you know, he's had pretty much career-ending injuries since he's been moved to Sunderland. Almost retired, didn't he? About 6-7 years ago, and then went on that incredible run where he was obviously part of the Invincibles with Celtic. But yeah, a real top goalkeeper, a good role model, great for the young kids, an intelligent fella. So you know, everything about Craig Gordon, there's not many things that you could pinpoint that you say that he's got any faults. So the fact that he's there will be great for the young kids, great for experience, and just a very, very steady, relaxed head as well.
Hearts win for you as well?
Hearts win, yeah. I think they all win 2-0.
2-1. Hearts.
2-1. Moving on to Kelly Hibs then. Cup action has mean that Derek McManus can get a few players back. You've got Kyle Vassell nearly back, Stu Finlay nearly back. How important is it having your experienced players back, especially when Kilmarnock right now are near the bottom of the table?
Well, it's the business end of the season. This is where you want your most valuable players in the team, and not only in the team, but to be fit as well. I think when you've got people out that are so crucial to your team and how you play and how you set up, then you know it shakes everything off. So the fact that these players are coming back into the squad and they're getting straight in, it means they need to hit the ground running. There's no doubt about that. But Hibs are flying at the minute, aren't they? Really, really good form. I know they got beat by Celtic, but that was just probably a blip over the last 10 games. So a real eye opener for Hibs if they can actually go into a meeting and say, listen, we've got a real opportunity to get in third in this division now, and that would be a long way from where they come from, which was early on in the season.
For sure, obviously that defeat at the weekend, we've seen a few teams, Aberdeen, going on great runs. One defeat can kind of derail them. How important is it for Hibs that this weekend they don't let that happen?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think when you're on a long unbeaten run and you lose one game, sometimes it can affect you and you can maybe lose a couple back to back. Hibs, listen, it's a tough game down at Kilmarnock, and that surface is a big leveller for Kelly. Depends who they've got back in the team, but I've been disappointed with Kilmarnock this season. I think last season they were really strong, got in the top six, got into Europe. This season they just haven't been the same. They haven't defended properly as well. It's unusual for a Derek McInnes team to be kind of sloppy at the back and slack. So I think Hibs can go down there and win. I think they'll go down. They'll still have the confidence from the unbeaten run in the league, and I think they can go down there and win a scrappy game. Maybe something like 2-1, but
I think you're right. It's no shame in getting beat by Celtic. It's one of
no,
those
Celtic were on it. Celtic were on it last week.
It's not as in like we've been beaten. It's all like we're back to the drawing board. A little blip against Celtic. I think you're right. I think they'll kick on.
Yeah,
2-1 Hibs.
I'll tell you what. If you have both teams to score in every one of these, your coupon will be in. 2-1 every game. I know.
Final game then, Motherwell versus St Mirren. Kris, how hard is it when you're a player coming against a team that's got a new manager in and knowing what to expect?
Usually they've vitalised. Usually they've got a lot more energy. They want to obviously show the manager that they want to be part of the pan. So it all depends on your own take into the game. You know, I think St Mirren will go in there and want to try and, you know, get their authority on the game and get possession and put them in behind and stuff like that. But it's one of them games. I don't know if you can say 1-1 for this game.
That's a tight game for me.
Yeah. 3 points separate the sides.
Yeah.
Is it a massive game in terms of making who gets that top six? Obviously Motherwell currently in it.
I think St Mirren need to win every game. I think they need to kind of win every game. I think your top five is your top five at the minute, and then there's one space: Hearts, Motherwell, St Mirren, outside chance maybe Ross County. But I'm going to go for 1-1. I think it's just a tight game. It's a hard one to call for me because I think Motherwell have picked up under Wimmer, but St Mirren are tough to play against. So I think a low scoring draw, one each.
I'll agree. I do concur.
Right, we're on to the quiz. Obviously, Kris, you're in place of Ruffy this week, so he's beaten Tam, so you need to keep it going.
Okay.
First question: how many appearances did Kris Commons make for Celtic?
Ooh.
Closest ones.
All in or just league?
All in.
Have you picked this for Wikipedia?
Nope, Celtic. Not that we're...
I'm going to say 261.
I'll go 240.
He is closer, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
226.
226.
26.
You know what, I nearly scored 100 goals. I didn't think my record was that good.
102.26.
It's not bad, eh?
That's prolific.
How many Scotland caps... Behave. How many Scotland caps did Craig Gordon have by the time James Wilson was born?
Was James Wilson 18?
Yep, Craig Gordon's 42, I think.
He's 42.
I'll give closest ones.
12.
Oh, I'd have gone 16.
That final answer?
Yeah.
One each. The answer was 22, so Kris was closer.
Craigie.
How many goals did Kris Commons score against Rangers?
7. Is it much more than that?
No. 3.
Correct. It was 3. 2-1, Kris. How many
Overplayed
goals?
you there, by the way, 7.
Yeah, 7's a good start, yeah.
How many
got
goals?
me thinking.
Tell me they're going to get to my goal scoring record today because it's embarrassing for me.
Where we're about to head. How many goals did Tam McManus score combined against Rangers and Celtic? That's competitively as well.
5.
Correct. 2 each, heading into the final
2 against
question.
Celtic, 3 against Rangers.
Good man.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know, I'm surprised it was you. What opposition does Scotland face in the double header next week?
Greece.
Correct. 3-2 win, Tam
Isn't
McManus.
it? Good Poyet. I heard him on.
Very disappointing, Kris. You come in, let Ruffy down.
I didn't know it was like first come, first serve.
I know, I'm sorry.
Catchphrase.
We all want
Ask a question, boing.
we all want Ruffy to win, so we're disappointed by that. Thank you so much for watching the Saturday Preview Show. Kerry will be back in 2 weeks' time probably for more Saturday Preview Show. Thank you to Kris.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tam, and we'll see you next time.